Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Coach KJ Smith, and I am pre-recording this presentation regarding offensive concepts from Brazilian basketball. Due to some internet constraints in my city in Brazil, there's some issues preventing me from going live, but please, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me via Twitter at KJ the Scout or to email me at kjthescout@outlook.com. And I'll be happy to not only answer your questions, but I'll be sharing the video from this presentation as well as fast draw diagrams via PDF. So definitely get in contact with me if you would like to have some of those on hand as well. I'm in my second year coaching in the first division of Brazil, known as the NBB. I coach with Basket Unifacisa, and I'm currently in my second year with the team, ninth year as a coach overall. My roles with the team involve tactical scouting as well as player development. So just a little bit of background on me before we get started. And before we get into the videos, I wanted to bring your attention to a few quotes. The first one's from Coach Michael McKay, where he talks about developing your players. And if you have not had a chance to hear his presentation on this same platform, I highly suggest it. It's very, very informative. There's a lot of really good nuggets in there. And he talks about learning from the best and sharing with the rest. And as coaches, that's something that we should be trying to do constantly, especially now with the situation of social distancing and trying to find ways to stay connected to each other, to continue to learn, to grow the game. So continue to learn from all of these great speakers, all of these coaches asking excellent questions. Share that information with others. Grow the game as a whole. The second one we're going to look at is from Bruce Lee. Adapt what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. Especially as coaches, we can all get in the trap of taking too much information, right? There's so much out there, so many offenses, so many defenses, concepts, player development tactics. It can get very overwhelming and difficult to filter all of that out. So it's really important that as you develop your coaching philosophy, constantly reevaluate your own beliefs, your own tactics, not just every season, but during the season, every month, every week, constantly try to add those things, try to fix and retweak everything that you see. Okay? The first thing we're going to go through is what we call in Brazil our version of the triple post. Now, when the ball gets into the post here in this situation, at other levels you see a lot of screen the screener, and sometimes we'll throw it in the post with this pin down happening. What's different here is instead of going for the pin down, normally after this action happens, you have just a simple one-on-one in the post, maybe a split cut here and there, but the action kind of stops. With the Brazilian triple post, we want to create attacks toward the rim as much as possible. So not only do we want to create this backdoor here, we also want to look to maybe curl this. So it's either backdoor or curl, no matter what for this first player, and we go for the pin down when this defender is completely going under for fear of us attacking the rim. You'll see the same action again here. When that backdoor is taken away, the progression is a weak side pin down. And it puts this backside defender in a lot of trouble because now, if this defender were to top block or deny this backdoor, he has to help. Either way, it's a long distance for this defender to travel to contest that shot through the pin down. Here's that same play again. The threat of the backdoor gives us this pin down for the shot, and we always re-pick after those pin downs to take advantage. Again, it's something that gets us really good five-man movement. Everyone's involved in the play. Everyone's moving. Everyone's involved. And again, on this re-pick, attacking the backside. So window concept is something we really like to attack zones. It's a very simple quick hitter with more and more zone that you're seeing in today's leagues. Having some quick hitters against zone where your players don't have to think too much is really effective. So here we open up a window literally for our guard to come straight in and take the three. Now this concept can also be used on the side to attack from the wing. Again, attacking for the three. Now, if you don't have a guard that's necessarily a great shooter or this is something you want to take advantage of, I want you to pay attention to two things. First, when this guard attacks. The purpose of this is not just to take the three, but to attack this big and create some drive and kick opportunities. If he's going to sit back and this guard doesn't have to rotate all the way over from this backside to help, we don't just want the three. We want to get downhill. We want to attack, maybe snake toward the middle here with this five sliding underneath and this shooter spotting up to take advantage of our numbers. Another concept against zone is the flash. And what's great about this is overloading the weak side of the floor and then bringing the ball to the overload. The advantage of the flash concept is that it creates a guaranteed mismatch. What you want here is to attack X3, okay, the three-man in this zone with R5. So now on this flash, since he has to stay in his area, when he lifts up to defend the flash, there's no one to help because everyone's on the perimeter with the shooters. Now here's that same play again, and if you have fours and fives that can shoot the rock, this play becomes even more difficult because they can just flash to the top of the key and take the shot uncontested. Again, if you watch everyone in the zone, everyone runs with the perimeter players, leaving the top of the key guy wide open. Here's that same play again, trying to create a numbers advantage. And notice on this catch, the backside again, we're playing 3 against 2 after this flash. So when he sprints up to the top of the key, if he doesn't have this shot, with the 5 afraid to leave the paint, guard has to come over, second guard is preparing to play against 2 guys. The slide concept is another really simple tool, just a couple of reversals to attack with a pick and roll. What we're trying to do here is play low-high or high-low. So after this guard cuts through, we want our one to catch on the move. And we're going to freeze it right here for a moment. One can also look for 5 to roll to this little short area here by the nail, and the rules would be the same. If he catches, you look for the perimeter shot, you look for a high-low pass. In this situation, when the short corner player catches it and the whole defense has his attention turned, this guy only has to read one backside defender. He can either toss it here for the roll as he does. If this defender sinks in, we throw the skip to an uncontested shooter. Now with the 4 cutting, we don't want him to just idly cut without a purpose. If this 4 can cut and take advantage, we want him to cut and catch with space and let him pass over the top of defenses. Use passing bigs if you have them. 44 is a simple concept to just spread the floor out with 4 shooters. The main key here is to create 2 against 1 on the backside, especially with our best shooter sprinting to the corner. So you'll see after this inbound, we pass to the corner and we cut through. Now when we attack, we're trying to draw this defender's attention. Once we've drawn his attention and we catch this kick out, we have 2 guys playing against 1 backside defender. .45 is a counter of that same concept, only instead of cutting to the corner, now we're going to sprint back off of a pin screen. And again, the effectiveness of this is attacking the low man defender here. So once we reverse, when he catches in the middle here, the 5 has to step up and defend this because the guards are on the perimeter. So when the 5 steps up to defend this, we only have to read 1 defender. He's stuck in, throw it out. If that defender steps out, throw the slip to the rim. Here we've got a screen the screener concept, looking to screen for the inbounder. If we don't have the pin down clean, it's just a simple post up. So 1 screening for 3, then a pin down here from 4 or 5. And you'll see the variation of it here. Same play, only this time they're ready for the pin down. So a really good way to take advantage of this is it takes some intelligent screening, but it's very simple to do, something you can't practice for very easily. When this defender starts to top lock or deny or sniff out this pin down, we screen our own defender, and this is popular against attacking switch as well. Screening your own defender, blocking him out into his teammate's defender, and you have a layup with no help on the backside. The last option of this is you can also turn this into a single double, in this case going off the single for the three. Single double, also known as floppy, just meaning that we can go off the single screen or the stagger to the other side. Next is a flow action here. Flow is just a term that I use personally for a pin down on one side with a flare on the other. This team in particular has a lot of quality shooters, as well as their five here, who can space out to three. So what they'd really like to do is when you curl this shooter, I want you to watch the attention of this big being stretched away by the threat of the three, even though there's a clear advantage for the layup. That instant of hesitation is all this guard needs. Here's the same play again, this time looking for the backside three. And because everyone on this particular roster is a skilled shooter, they have more space to set not only just the flare, but to look for a slip when this flare happens here. Here's that same play one more time. Again, defense is prepared for the pin down. So at the last moment, switch it to a flare and attack the closeout. Flipping screens from down screens to flares is something that can be very effective. So definitely if it's a skill you can teach to just screen your own man, turn it into a flare, you create a lot of problems with that. Leak is another way of calling screen the screener, just a different angle. What the purpose of this play is trying to get that inbounder three screens before attacking downhill to create an advantage for the rest of the group. So after this back screen and cross screen, inbounder's man has to run through the stagger. If we don't have anything on the stagger, we re-pick and attack downhill. Defender steps up, and now we've got a roll. Here's that same play again. This time attacking hard hedge. And looking for single side tags is something that is really effective at all levels. You'll see it here, especially against the hard hedge, which is a very, very popular defensive coverage here in Brazil. Everyone likes to hard hedge. When we see this hard hedge, we know that there's a single side tag. Once this defender commits, it's an easy catch and shoot. Leak floppy is the counter to this, just a single double. After this screen here, we set another back screen all the way to the corner. And the counter to this, if that three is not there, we slip again for the layup. And this is where it causes a lot of the confusion, especially against teams that like to switch. Here's that floppy concept again from another team. And again, if you got bigs that can shoot and slip, this is where the play becomes very effective. Because after they set this screen here, depending on how this defender comes off, he can pop out and take the three. He can slip again if there's space. It causes a lot of problems. The counter to this is the screen the screener concept. What we're trying to do is get this handoff, back screen for the four, and then a pin down from 5 to 2. I want you to pay attention to the angle of this screen here. We always want to try and get underneath the defender in these angles, especially in this situation here. It's very difficult for defenders to backpedal and turn around, right? Run backwards to recover onto their defender. So we want to get under this defender as much as possible. Once this screen is set, he's going to be late. and that even gives us more time to read this pin down if it's there. For coaches that enjoy ball screen motion and have seen a lot of zipper-like action from Australia and other teams, this is that same play. Any reversal to the top with a wing cut immediately triggers this play. As soon as he catches it, immediate step-up screen to attack downhill. Here's that same play again. Not only just a wing cut, can also be a pin down. And again into a rip screen to attack downhill. Now I want you to pay attention to this 4 here, because the 4 has a number of options depending on how you're being defended. This 4 could just stay in the corner and spot up. The 4 can run to the short corner or deep corner on the other side to force a single side tag with this defender. Or they can replace behind the roll, and in which case this shooter would go to the corner. In this case, to attack the hedge, he's kicking ahead. So once you see the hard hedge that's so popular, we simply kick it ahead. And now on this catch, we've created 2 against 1. Depending if where he catches it here, now the defender decides, does he fake and go back here and hope he throws the pass? In this case, he takes the shot. Step is another concept out of the ball screen motion here, trying to catch in the angle and attack the ball screen on the side with a 2-sided tag. Now what I want you to notice here is the 4. Sitting on the strong side is a very common attack in Brazil, and what we do here with this is really forcing the 3 and the 2s and the 1s to be the tag men. So when we attack this screen here and come off, you notice here there's a second cut that we don't see. Now normally in this situation before the repick, as this guard attacks, it's very normal for this 4 to step up to the wing, this player to step to the corner, and this guy here would start to fade out to this deep corner here. Instead, like we just talked about, to force the guard to tag, after this backdoor cut, lift up behind the play, and now you've got 3 tagging, and he's late for the 3. 5 down is another quick hitting concept out of ball screen motion. Works especially well if your 5 can shoot, but even if your 5 can't, if they're mobile enough to navigate through space, it's an advantageous play for your roster, especially with the 1 or the 2 setting that screen to attack downhill. A very simple quick hitter if you don't have many ball handlers, but you've got some guys that can shoot. The Iverson stagger. The play starts targeting your best shooter. So you notice this defender has to chase through 4 screens before coming off. Had this player not been open for the shot, there's another guard preparing to go off the same number of staggers. Turn 5 is a concept used to get a quick slip from the 4 first and foremost, where they can use their mobility to attack downhill. So we pitch to the 5. 4 is going to fake this flare to 5 as 5 would start to flare out and slip early before arriving at the ball. Now the counter to this is after that flare, there's a pin down by 5 to 2, and again, you're in a spread pick and roll situation with your 4 in the corner, guards on the backside. So the same time that this pin down is happening, the 4 is emptying out to the corner, looking to attack. And depending on what this 5 does, determines everything for the defense. If this 5 pops, now when you see is a stunt here, a stunt there with a 2 against 1, or you repick again, and the threat of the reject is always prevalent with all of the spacing. All right, so that does it for all of the video content. As I said, please contact me on Twitter via DM or message at KJ the Scout. Email me at kjthescout@outlook.com. Definitely, I will be sending the videos from this presentation, as well as the PDF fast draw files for anyone to look at. And if you have any other questions about Brazilian basketball, any concepts, or want more information, feel free to contact me as well with any extra questions, and I'd be happy to grow the game with you. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys later.